Hi, and welcome back to the Repair Panda. Today we're working on an XPR 6550, specifically the battery contacts. It was asked in a comment of my last 6550 video if I had any suggestions on how to replace the battery contacts. So I went digging into the pit of XPRs that I have. I found one that actually needed a new contact on it. What I do is I actually replace all three individual ones with brand new ones, as you can see right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this apart, get these battery contacts off, and put some new ones on, and give the radio test from there. So let's get started. As my previous video said, there's two screws down at the bottom, so we'll go ahead and take those off. And you just need a flat head or something pretty flat to get. Oh man, this is filled with gunk. There we go. That was a dirty radio. Right. Let's see here. Can actually go ahead and get a flat head. See if we can't pry this up. There it goes. It's a dirty radio. Dirty. Alright. So we're going to toss this housing away because it looks like crap, and we'll put a new one on while we test it. Alright. So, there we go. Alright. So now we have 4 screws here and 2 underneath the screen. So let's go ahead and release the screen from its retainer clip. And there are your other 2 screws. So we'll go ahead and take these screws off. Alright, so now with all 6 screws off, we can hold the frame and just lift up, and then the PCB board will come off. So now we're taking a look at the battery contacts down here. As you can see, one is pretty busted. And unfortunately, the retainer clip, let's push that out the way. If you notice, right here is also broken. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the retainer clip off, heat up the board, remove the 3 individual contacts, and then put them back with brand new ones. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this retainer clip off. Unfortunately, this one's broken, so I don't care about getting this off all in one piece. But what I normally do is I'll come from the top and kind of slide it down, and then get some pliers here. And like I said, unfortunately it's broken, so it's not going to be a clean come off. And I never really get these off clean. That's why if I do replace one of the contacts, I end up just replacing them all and using the new retainer clip. There's no real good way without knocking out all of these components down on the bottoms. Let's take a look there. So there's no real good way to get this retainer clip off other than breaking it. I've been doing this for 5 years with XPRs. I've never been able to get this off cleanly outside of maybe a handful of times. Like I said, I just take it, and push it down. And because of this row of resistors and a few other components here, you can't slide it all the way down and out. So what I try to do is just try to lift it up, which, like I said, it doesn't really do that. So the next thing I do, if it's not doing what I want, is I just break it all off as carefully as I can. There it goes. So now we got one piece up. And if tweezers aren't doing it, I'm bringing the big guns. And there you go. Like I said, that plastic retainer, I always break it. I can never get it off correctly. So don't worry about it. If you really want to use the original retainer clip or OEM battery contacts, by all means, that's fine. But I get some aftermarket battery contacts. These contacts actually work both with the 6000 series, 3000 series, and the 7000 series. I've tried them on all of them. They work just fine. They work great, and they do their job. And they are some of the better ones. They come pre-tinned, as you can see here. I don't know how well it looks compared to the gold on top. The bottom is pre-tinned, which is really nice as well. So let's go ahead and get this into our board holder here. All right. Then I just use a hot air gun and my some fine tip tweezers, and I just start heating this up. Go back and forth and pull out any of the pieces of the retainer clip that get blown out as well. And then after a little bit of heating it back and forth, I'll focus on one side particularly and then just go up and down instead. And I'm using airflow at 100% at 750 degrees. Most of the manuals for Motorola, I should say, most Motorola manuals do say don't go above 750 degrees Fahrenheit when you're adding heat to the board. So I try to stick to that, though I don't know if the XPR series has that in there. I know the HT series does. And there you go. After a little bit, they just come right off. All right, these ones, if you can see right in here, let's see. You can see a little clip that gets locked into place. So all you gotta do is get your fine tip, lift them up and push them out just a tad bit. And for those who need them, I will be selling these on my eBay page as well. So don't worry about not being able to find these ones. I will have them listed eventually. I do have a couple hundred coming in. I just haven't gotten them at the time of this video yet. Now there's plenty of solder on these contacts still, so I don't add any new solder. There's no reason to. And then I start from the far right and go to the left. So let's get a little bit of heat back into the board. And then start placing the battery contacts. I do one at a time. I make sure it lays flat before I move on to the next one. Yeah. I just don't want to stay. There it goes. Okay. Just had to give a couple more seconds. Now we'll go to the middle one. And just so you know, the new battery contacts, they're designed a little bit differently than the original. So you can't just take the retainer clip off of these ones and use it with like a mix of half and half. It will not work. That's why I replace all three. We're going to let this cool down for a couple seconds or to a minute. And then once I'm able to hold it with my hands, we'll go ahead and put the new retainer clip back on and put it back together. I'll be back in a moment. All right. Our board has now cooled down. So we're going to be putting the retainer clip on so the battery contacts stay in place. So what I do is I come in at like about a 45-degree angle, maybe less than that. I don't know. Whatever kind of degree that is right there. I'm not that good. And then I just push it forward. With the new battery contacts, now there won't be any issues with sliding the battery onto the radio once we add this back into the frame. And there you go. We have now successfully replaced battery contacts on an XPR 6000 series. This method can work on 6350s, 6100s, 6550s, and 6580s as well. If you're watching this and you have a different issue with your XPR 6000 series, go ahead and comment below and let me know what your issue is, and I'll try to find one with a similar issue in my shop. If not, I'll just simulate the issue and do the fix either way. Yeah, appreciate you guys hanging out to the end of the video. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button down there so you can see whenever I have new videos for radios to come out. Enjoy the day, and thanks for watching.